Hey guys, if you like to catch a lot of fish, get a lot of bites, fish that are easy to catch, pretty easy to find, and actually taste pretty good, I'm going to show you how to do that today on Wheeler Lake, and it's white bass. Pound for pound, about as fun to catch as anything that swims in fresh water. So guys, don't go anywhere. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hey guys, Crispin Pally guest hosting for Barry, and this week I am coming to you from Wheeler Lake. It's an impoundment of the Tennessee River. It's in Alabama. It is 60 miles long, about 67,000 acres. It's the second largest lake in the state of Alabama. It is technically the Tennessee River, however, which makes it feel like home to me in my heart. But what we're going to do here today, I've fished Wheeler several times throughout my lifetime fishing bass tournaments, but one of the biggest phenomenons that I've always heard about here is the spectacular white bass run. Throughout parts of the country, it's a real popular deal, but we're going to break it down for you how we do it here on the Tennessee River on Lake Wheeler. We're also going to get your local fishing reports from our insider reporters. So while we're getting everything rigged up, we're gonna get some white bass stuff tied on, I'm gonna send you back to the FSN studio for your weekend update.
A check of these solunar tables reveals Saturday as the best time to be on the water for fishing over the weekend. Conditions are listed as good, with peak times in the middle of the night and also in the afternoon, beginning at 1:37 on Saturday and 2:36 on Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 6:52 and set at 8:01. Nighttime fishing should be nice and bright with the full moon. We'll be right back to check all of the current fishing reports from throughout the area. And I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Mark Daniels Jr. on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stick with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Request our free 2019 fishing guide at orangebeach.com.
Pretty nice white bass right there on that 3XD crankbait. We're on the upper end of Wheeler Lake on the Tennessee River, and as I said, we're going to be looking for white bass today. The thing about it is there's a couple things that have to come together for them to really, for the fishing for them to really be good. You need current, which we certainly have. This lake is running about 124,000 cubic feet per second, which is a ton of current. You'll see it throughout the day. I mean, it's rolling. However, about a week ago, it was running 240 cubic feet per second here, which is double, obviously. The other thing you need, the magic part of the equation, is water temperature. The water temperature is in the mid-50s, and when it hits about 50 and you've got current, these white bass come from the lake up the river into the tributaries, and that's when they start thinking about the little spring baby time ritual. So we're going to ease out here. I'm going to run down to the first little creek mouth, first little current break, and I'm going to try to catch one or two real quick, kind of explain to you what we're looking for. Let's get going. This is a great illustration of just a textbook creek mouth. We're sitting out here in all this current, then you've got that slack water in that creek and that eddy that's created there at the mouth. There's also a long shallow point that runs out. If you can see, there's birds working around, which tells us that there's a lot of bait here. Maybe a better one. Yeah, that's a lot better one. Pretty nice white bass right there on that 3XD crankbait. Tell you a little trick to this is first, try not to get hooked real bad, because they will flat do it. But, oh golly, Bill, quit. Second, a lot of times if you're getting them to bump it, or you're not catching them, or you're not getting bites, if you'll just alter your retrieve, like stop it, start it, speed it up, slow it down, you'll trigger them to bite. They're really weird about that. That is one of those things color change and changing up the rate of your retrieve. But that's a really good white bass right there. They certainly get bigger, but like most things in life, I'll take that one every time.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report. This week brought to you by the Crazy Sister Marina. Located on the waterfront in Murrells Inlet, we can take care of all your needs when you're down along the Grand Strand. Want to book a charter? We got that taken care of. Come out and enjoy with all your friends our new inlet princess. I tell you what, we put you on fish. Captain Robert is the man. It's that time of the year. Get out. Grouper fishing starting next week. We're going to have some great trips scheduled for the summer, so make sure you book your trip. Go to crazysister.com for more information. Let's start down in Georgia. Our good buddies down at Lake Lanier giving us some great reports. Those fish are in that spawning mode. Get back in those shallower waters, back in those coves. You're going to find some stained water right now. Cincos, Carolina rig worms, great baits right now. You've got some new debris that's covered with that high water. You can find some fish stuck back there. They're in that mode. It's time to go catch a big girl. Also, the stripers are biting as well out on the main river. Moving up to South Carolina, we got to give a big shout out to all of our great guys here from Lake Hartwell and down in the Georgetown area for doing such a great job hosting the Bassmasters Elite Series here. They said they're record crowds, and that's just like South Carolina and the Carolinas here to welcome those guys and give them a great time, and the fish didn't let them down either. Let's also talk about moving along the coast here. A lot of flounder showing up everywhere from down south in Beaufort up to North Carolina in the Wilmington area. Captain Jot Owens tells me that up in Wrightsville, he's having a great time right now fishing with artificials, starting to catch those flounder in the backwaters, and he's ready to start getting on those reefs. This has been your Carolinas Report, brought to you by the Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Another little one. They are some hard fighting, hard pulling little fish. One of the things to know about these fish is a lot of fish, when you grab them by the mouth, it kind of paralyzes them. It does not do that to these. And they've got these little gill plates right here, and they are like little mini razor blades. They will eat you up. I don't know, can't tell. That's a good one. That's another good one. Got that front hook again like I was talking about. This is one of them dangerous ones. Let's see if I can't, it's big enough you can lip it. There, I feel a little bit better now. Tell you a little thing about the white bass that you need to know. The reason they're up here is these fish are unique. Can you see that, what that fish is dripping? That would make me think that is probably a male fish. Let me explain what's going on. So the males move up in an area first, and unlike other bass, largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, where the female will come up there, a male will go into an area and kind of hunt it out and get all the predators out of the way. These fish do the same thing. The males come up and just hunt out an area and keep everything run off. And then the females come in, where largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass females build a nest and lay eggs, and the male fertilizes them. A female white bass will actually lay her eggs in the current, and they will tumble. But they've got this little sticky substance on them that makes them stick to rocks and clay and hard surface that they need to spawn. And then the males will follow them in there and actually fertilize that area, and the current will carry what they fertilize the eggs with down through there. And that is why they're up here right now. That is where they're at in their annual routine. So that was a male, a good male. That was a better than average male. But your males come in first, then your bigger females come in after that. So it's pretty cool. If you're catching a bunch of little ones, you know by odds are they're males. Could get into bigger ones, odds are they're females. There's a lot of ways you can prepare them, but they're good, firm meat, especially when you're catching them in cool water. Could be a good one. Could be another small, mean one. No, that's a good one. That's a real good one. Or a real good, mean one. That's a pretty good fish. Hey, I'm gonna tell you another thing about these fish that don't get talked about a lot. They're pretty undervalued table fare. There's a lot of ways you can prepare them, but they're good, firm meat, especially when you're catching them in cool water. A lot of people like to cut them, leave the skin on them, and lay them on the grill, like white bass on a half shell. They really are good to eat. They're one of those fish that's kind of got a reputation as just kind of one of those. But do not let that keep you from trying these, because I'm telling you, if I wasn't in a hurry and to get back home, and it wasn't gonna be late when I got there, and if I wasn't gonna get hung in this tree, I'd be filling a live well full of these suckers, cleaning them, we'd be eating them.
Well, great spring weather is occurring all over the southeast, and coastal sheepshead fishing is on fire in a lot of areas. These are great eating fish, and right now is the best time to catch a real big one. In fact, there was a possible state record caught in Alabama by a good friend of ours. But first, this from our good friends at MirrOlure. MirrOlure, building quality saltwater lures since 1937, including the new line of MirrOlure plugs. Turn on the bite anytime, tie on a MirrOlure. Well, prime fishing is available now for sheepshead throughout the coastal southeast area. These fish are commonly going 4 to 6 pounds. This is the time of year to catch the really big ones. And some of these fish are double-digit weights. These are big spawning fish. Typically, they're being caught offshore around reefs and wrecks near shore waters where they spawn. And our good friend Captain Patrick Garmison caught one with a client off Mobile Bay recently. He started casting a lightweight jig with a gulp on it, and he hooked a big sheepshead, landed it, and the fish officially weighed 13 pounds, 14 ounces. That is a monster sheepshead, and it's a potential state record for Alabama. Congratulations, Patrick. And there's other fish like that available on the coastal south now. And in Mississippi, sheepshead fishing continues good, with some flounder also mixed in around the rocks, shell bars, bridges, Katrina Reef. Use shrimp baits for sheepshead with a jig head or a sliding sinker near the bottom, and flounder will take those baits too. Tuna fishing has been very good off Mississippi, but it's way offshore and the wind can be a problem. Trout fishing continues very good on the east side of the Chandelier Islands and in the Biloxi Marsh. In Georgia, it's whiting. Whiting are on fire throughout the sounds and river mouth areas near sandbars at those river mouths. Fish dead shrimp on the bottom. Well, that's it for the coast. Get out on the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
We'll be right back in just a moment. First, though, we want to pass along some of your big catch of the week photos. These entries didn't win, but we still wanted to share some of the great fish catches from around the area. Be sure to stick around for this week's winner at the end of today's show. We're coming right back.
Buck Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lose. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland, the best in bass and crappie lures, heads to tails. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
I mean, what an incredible way to get a kid introduced to fishing. There's a good one. Nope. Man, the thing about these suckers, let me tell you something that you need to know about white bass. They are probably the meanest fish pound for pound that swims. I say there's a good one every time I set the hook on one, because them little suckers fight. They shake their heads. They don't give up easy. A cool thing about them, I haven't fished for them a whole lot, admittedly, but what an incredible way to take a kid. I mean, they've been out here an hour and I've caught 30 already. I mean, what an incredible way to get a kid introduced to fishing, or somebody that just hadn't fished a lot. If you want to take them somewhere where they get a lot of bites, it's an awesome way to do that. There's one. That's a pretty good one right there. That's a chunk, boys and girls. That is a toad. For here, there's places where they catch them bigger. Around this part of the world, that's about as big a one as you're gonna get. One of the things I want to tell you about these, just kind of to take note of, if you're gonna go out and try to catch these at your home waters, my advice as a long-time white bass fisherman, as of about 3 hours ago, light colors, white colors, bright colors, white, chartreuse, orange, pink, red, they just seem to bite those bright colors better. And a lot of times you're catching them in current, so you're going to have a little more color to the water. I actually caught that one. There's a pretty defined mud line down through here, and that's where that fish came out of. So I would say if you want to go out and start from ground zero, get you some bright colored soft plastics or hard baits. That's the way to go. They like chrome too, so like a little chrome 1/4 ounce red eye shad, pretty good way to catch them. But that right there is a tank. Hey guys, welcome to this week's report. Let me tell you what's going on in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. First off, the weather is incredible. It gets a little warm during the days, not too hot. It gets a little cool in the mornings, not too cold. Wonderful time to be here, wonderful time to fish. The fish are biting. In Alabama right now, you know, one of the things that we don't talk about enough is probably the river systems in this 3-state region, and I'm going to talk about the Warrior River for a minute. Very underappreciated body of water in Alabama. Lots of big fish there, lots of big spots. Takes a lot to win a tournament there, and it's pretty accessible. It's a real good place to go fishing right now. In Mississippi, I want to talk about Bay Springs as well. Another one of those places that some people know about it, some people don't. It doesn't get the notoriety of a Ross Barnett, but it has got some big bass in it. It's got crappie, catfish, everything you could want, but the bass fishing there is really, really good. And the fish are moving up right now, all through that region, all through this region. They're getting around the banks. You can start catching them flipping, pitching around shallow cover, wood stumps and rocks, and you can catch them on moving baits like a square bill, a crankbait, or a lipless bait. In Tennessee right now, Chickamauga is just impossible to beat. You might not beat it anywhere in the country. Big, big bass come out of there every week, double-digit fish, lots of grass. It's real healthy. The big swim bait bite and the big lipless bite's been best, but there's a lot of fish getting ready to spawn, so everything's kind of changing. It's that time of year. Guys, come get you some of this. It's really good here right now. We'd love to see you. God bless. Oof. That's a toadzilla right there. Hammer. Come here. That's a big sucker. I'm telling you, kind of got a pattern going here, and it is that I'm not catching them right in the mouths of creeks, but I'm catching them upstream, and they are all, if I get my boat in deeper than 10 feet of water, I can't get a bite. But you get in less than 10 feet and get upstream from the mouth of one of these cuts or creeks, and you catch these big females. So that's a hammer right there.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and the follow button on Twitter, and watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free WAYPOINT TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by MotorGuide's wireless and easy-to-use XI3, WAYPOINT Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist, Strike King, Taiwan Han, and Tracker Boats, America's best-selling fishing boats.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Rusty wants to know, what is the worst mistake most anglers make that causes them to lose a big fish? For an answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Mark Daniels Jr.
You know, everybody gets excited when you hook a big bass. or fish that feels strong. You know, you think you got something really, really big, and I think a lot of people try to get the fish to the boat too soon. A lot of these fish are what we call hot. You know, you need to let them run and kind of burn a little bit of that energy, so then that way you can take control of the fight. A lot of people want to get a fish in a boat, I mean, right now. And in some cases you can do that, but a lot of times you lose that fish. And so if you avoid rushing the bass to the boat, you'll increase your catch ratio by a lot. I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot.
Thank you, Mark. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
It's time for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. This week's winner is Marty Cotner of Salem, Missouri, showing off 2 3-pound crappie he caught at Sardis Lake, Mississippi. To enter the contest, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com. Click on the Big Catch of the Week box on the right side of the homepage to send in your big fish photo, or simply post your photo on our Facebook page. You could have your big fish shown here on our show. Here's the gear you need to go out here and catch these white bass on Wheeler Lake, or probably on your lake. I'd say the gear is pretty much across the board. Just about every fish, all the big fish I caught today came on this Strike King 3XD, and that is in the splatterback color number 570. It is just an incredible shad imitating color. It's got a lot of white, and I think that orange belly really helps in that dirtier water. And to throw that small crankbait, you've got to have the right rod and reel set up. This is my favorite Lew's reel. It's called the Hyper Mag. It's a Team Lew's Hyper Mag, and this is the new TP1 Black. It's a 6/8 medium heavy, and it is just a perfect setup to make long cast or to make finesse cast around stuff, and it handles those fish really well. You get this gear right here, you go where white bass live, I'll guarantee you'll put them in the boat. You know, every time I come out here and I film a show, I fish a tournament, I take somebody fishing, I always put so much pressure on myself, and it revolves around the result. It's always about the end result. Work's about the end result. You know, as a kid in school, your grades are about the end result. But let me tell you something. If you get out, take a look around, take a deep breath, and just take it all in, all that God's given us just to experience and to find happiness in and have pleasure in, I think you'll find that there's a lot of things that are not about the result. They're not about the destination. They're about the journey. One of my favorite sayings on earth is, I don't need more to be thankful for. I just need to be more thankful. And I think that just exemplifies how we should live our lives. And just get out, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy nature, enjoy the people around you. That's stuff that matters. Thanks for hanging out with me today here on Wheeler Lake. I had a blast catching these white bass, and I hope that you learned something that you can apply where you fish to catch them as well. Until then, God bless.